Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our today's series, the continuation of The Last Laugh. We are at Scene 2, Act 2. And as usual, I'll begin by mentioning the characters in this particular scene. And we have Orwa, Tai, Kola, and Oka. This is a family. Orwa is the husband, Tai is the wife, and then we have Kola and Oka who are siblings. Let me begin by giving a summary of this particular scene. In this particular scene, the main event taking place is the conflict that is there between Orwa and Oka. You remember Oka released the workers from the farm previously. So in this particular scene, Orwa is trying to address this particular matter. And so Orwa sends Tai to go and call Oka, and when Oka comes, they are in a conflict with the father. But Oka confidently faces the father and tells him the fact of what is going on and why he released the workers and why he feels that is the right thing. But Orwa gets very angry and gets out of the house. Now it remains Kola, Oka and Tai. And Oka explains to the mother why they did whatever they did, and the mother tells them when the father comes back, they are not to involve her in whatever they did. And so let me go straight to the setting. As usual, I always remind you that when you ask about a setting refers to the time and place where the events took place, or rather we can just say when and where the events take place. So when, it is late in the evening. Where? In the living room. So that is the setting. We go straight to the themes addressed in this particular scene. And theme number 1 is the theme of change, according to page 17, where Tai is saying the weather is so unpredictable. You can't tell what each day has to offer. That is theme of change, because in the past, according to this, the weather pattern was predictable. Theme number 2 is effect of colonialism. We get that on page 18, where Orwa is saying that I wish you were there during the colonial era. Those colonialists were down pressers to scale. Now, effects of colonialism. This means that whatever Orwa is doing, Orwa is not feeling like he's doing something bad to the workers. Why? Because whatever he went through during the colonial period was far much painful than whatever he's inflicting to the workers. That tells us about effects of colonialism. It changed the heart of men from being human to inhuman. Our number 3 theme is a family conflict. There is a family conflict between Orwa and his family, specifically to mention Orwa and Oka. And also we have the theme of classism. Classism is where we have the rich and the poor. This is we get that when Oka is telling the father that you do not care about the health of these poor brothers and sisters, and from the explanation of where they are and what is there and their lifestyle, we can tell that they are the rich, and then we have the workers who are the poor. We go direct to styles evident in this particular scene. Now we have the use of rhetorical questions. These are questions that are not answered, that do not require answers. For example, on page 19, we have the question, are these my children? That is Orwa asking, are these my children? That question has not been answered, so it is a rhetorical question. Next, we have repetition on page 19, where Orwa says, Nyata, Nyata, Nyata. He is calling Nyata, and he continuously repeats the name 3 times. Then we have the use of ellipsis. Ellipsis is found on page 19, where Orwa still is saying, now, my, these. Then he now calls Nyata, Nyata, Nyata. This proves that there are some things that Orwa wanted to say, but he didn't say them. So that is why we have the use of ellipsis there. We also have the use of why saying. Why saying is still on page 19, where it is said, furthermore, the society says that guide a horse with a whip, a donkey with a bridle, and a rebel with a rod. That is a wise saying. We also have the use of biblical allusion on page 21. On page 21, we have, even the Lord Jesus was master of his disciples. That is the use of biblical allusion. We also have a simile on page, let me confirm, on page 24, where it is said, when the ones at the front line are getting the leftovers, No, it is like a war of armies. The officers will only stand behind and keep on shouting. Now, it is like a war of armies is a simile. The comparison between what is going on in Orwa's farm and a war of armies. We have compared them by the use of the word like, which makes it a simile. Direct to character traits, and number one, we want to start with Oka. Oka is courageous, and how do we know that Oka is courageous? The way he faces the dad. You remember how Oka was told, your dad can disown you. But regardless of knowing this, Oka is confidently, courageously addressing the father and telling him the facts. Then we can also say that Oka is very brave. Oka is very brave with how he's presenting his points when he's addressing the father and also the mother. He's presenting the points in a way that shows that he is very brave. We can also say that Oka is caring because of how he cares for the workers. Orwa. Orwa is short-tempered. How do we know that Orwa is short-tempered? When they're having this particular conflict with Oka, he gets very angry and he went outside, comes back with a rod and wants to hit Oka, but Tai gets in between them. That shows that Orwa is short-tempered. We also have the mother, that is Tai. Tai is loving and caring with how he's addressing the issues and how he's defending her daughters, shows that she is very caring. That marks the end of this particular scene. Kindly subscribe, like and share, and also press the notification bell so that when I upload the next scene, you will be there with me. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time. See you next time.